What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast for the week of June 14th through June 20th of 2021. Brian here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. As always, truly appreciate you for tuning in. I hope that you're doing well here post-eclipse. Definitely a big-time solar eclipse in Gemini, so a lot of that story is starting to get rewritten, a lot of information. It's like we're seeing the other half of Gemini now, so it's like we were living one side, and now I think we're going to see what the other side looks like. So definitely looking for, there's a lot of mutability, a lot of change, opposite energies. So, where maybe we've been living in a lot of deception, maybe we start to see more truth come out, or vice versa, depending on where you're at in your life, of course. But I would say more deception has come out. So maybe my prediction would be a lot more truth seems to find us, whether it's through our own research, which is very Gemini, or through even possibly the media might show up with a little bit more truth than we've ever thought was maybe possible in these times. Who knows what's going to come out? Definitely a time of it's high intense energy. We're going to see Uranus square Saturn this week. That's definitely bringing a lot of unpredictability and uncertainty. Saturn, of course, is the ruler of our reality. We look at Tarot, we see Saturn as the world card. It is the ruler of time and space that we occupy here on Earth and this physical reality. And we're seeing Uranus, which is the god of the heavens and wants to accelerate us higher, but it's usually through very unpredictable change or uncertainty. That we have to really, find our unique individual courage and authenticity to get through. And with Uranus and Taurus in what many would call its fall position, we're seeing a pretty weak Uranus against a strong Saturn. But with Saturn retrograde and Uranus in forward motion right now, pressing on this second square between the two, I would say that gives Uranus, it levels the playing field a little bit more, but in very, uncertain ways. And in our fixed, or most, stable of the fixed signs, you could say in Taurus, which deals with our world. It deals, again, our physical, like Earth. It's very Earth-based, We're seeing uncertainty. So definitely weather, earthquake, a lot of uncertainty revolves around that energy. So, pay attention to what the weather's doing, plan accordingly the best you can. And a lot of times it's unpredictable weather that shows up out of nowhere. So we'll see where that can take us as well. But on another level, with Saturn being, institutional structures in life and governments, I think we're definitely seeing some cracks. So I think that comes out with the truth. We're going to see things that we probably never thought would change, things that we thought were so just stable and going to show up nonstop and always be that sort of, what it was, or how you get to this peak in life with Saturn. It's there's just a high level of uncertainty. We don't, really know what's going to change, but I think it's pretty obvious there are major cracks that are going to get exposed. And, you could say that reality is getting shattered in many ways. So hopefully, you're in a position within yourself, finding that unique sovereignty and unique value system and courage and strength in these times, to really feel good within yourself, so that whatever is changing in this unpredictable times, we're in these mutable times coming off a mutable solar eclipse, that you can find that strength to whatever does go on in the outer world, still know that you're strong, sovereign, beautiful, and powerful, and you can, get through whatever might show up this week and really through the rest of 2021. We're in some intense times. We had the solar eclipse. I think that really kicked off 2021. And of course, we're seeing Mars now in Leo, which Mars is going to be igniting a lot of passion, a lot of heart within us too, which is great. I do like the Mars in Leo, but the way it's transiting against Uranus, against Saturn, T-squaring to Uranus, Mars is igniting some intense energy. And Mars, of course, is the god of war. I did a little presentation on a live last week, a little clunky, a little Mercury retrograde, but nonetheless went over some history of these three planets, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and hard aspects that they've made over history in transit, and some interesting events and some interesting correlations that, you can use your own mind. We are in Gemini season. Use your own mind to really come to your own conclusions. I put out some loose predictions, but it's uncertain times. It's hard to really just be like, this is going to happen, because I can honestly tell you I have my theories, but I don't know what's coming. So we have to be mutable, interchangeable, take in information, and adapt quickly. That's a big part of this North Node in Gemini with the eclipse. Like, that's going to help you win in life. That's going to help you level up and go farther. So the better you can adapt and be quick and smart and mutable within yourself during this great time of mutation that we're all going through, I think the better you're going to feel. By the end of the week, we're going to see, like literally the end of this week, late June 20th, which is next Sunday, we're going to see that sun move into Cancer, and we're going to see the summer solstice. So summer kicks off, we get back into Cardinal. So we start off next week in Cancer, and that's definitely going to bring some good energy. The summer solstice always brings out some nice energy, brings out some strong emotion. Emotion's great, especially when it's a joyful or happy or free emotion. So definitely coming into that as we're going through all these changes, like now we're going to see where things start to go and how they make us feel. So definitely working towards that. Besides for Uranus and Saturn, it's pretty amazing how little aspects we're seeing this week between like planets. Like, of course, the moon is making a lot of aspects this week, but it's pretty mind-blowing. It's almost like God's giving us like a little break, because Saturn and Uranus is so intense, and we're just coming off a solar eclipse in Gemini with a Mercury cazimi. Mercury is going to finish its last week in retrograde here before going direct on June 22nd. So we're going to see this stationing Mercury this week starting to really slow down and come direct again. It just seems like there's a lot to process. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to contemplate, to switch up, to change, to act for in such a time of sort of our own time and space getting sort of zapped by Uranus here, to see where things are going to go. And remember, Uranus does want to take us higher. So whatever shows up, it's really to help you find your self-worth and value, and to liberate in that, and to know that whatever happens, you can get out of it. You can work your way out of it. You can be stable and secure by being within your own truth. And I think that truth is everything right now, with, of course, the eclipse in Gemini. And remember, Gemini is also your individual truth. So there's a liberation between our individual truth and our own self-sovereignty and self-worth, and knowing that we can get out of things by being smart and knowing our true value within our own human divinity. But again, we're really only going to see some Mars and Sun aspects. We're going to see Mars quincunx Jupiter. That's, somewhat of a big one. We're going to see Mars semi-square Mercury retrograde, Sun quincunx Pluto, and a Sun semi-square Uranus before the Sun does eventually leave Gemini and come into Cancer. So pretty wild, just to see like not any real, like, Venus is just kind of floating through this week. A lot, so Mars is making a quincunx and a semi-square to Mercury. Like, it's interesting how like little, these planets are really like looking at each other and talking to each other. It's almost like we really need to get in our heart space with Mars and Leo and act accordingly from that position, as well as with Venus here, very strong in Cancer, sharing reception with Jupiter in Pisces. Very, very much get into what makes us feel good within ourselves and our emotions, and how we can definitely find comfort within ourselves is super important. And who's nurturing in life? What are the relationships nurturing in life? Are the people in our lives, are they nurturing and uplifting us too? Is another thing to consider as we move through this week. But yeah, so besides for that, we're gonna go through the week, look at the charts here, and see what's going on. So Monday, June 14th, we are going to see the sun come to 24 degrees. So that, is a very, I think, we're trying to see a lot of beauty in some of the information that's found us today. I think we're trying to understand what is going to kind of delegate and, justify where we want to be. So I think, Monday's kind of like it's a contemplating day, but it's really trying to find beauty and trying to find some sense of harmony within the change and within the chaos. And we are seeing the exact square between Saturn and Uranus to just kick this week off. And, these are big energies, slow moving planets. So it's not like Monday is just the only day you're going to see this. I mean, this is kicking this into play. And of course, we're going to see this again late in the year. So it's not the last time we see Uranus and Saturn square off here. But it is at 13 degrees, which I think is very erratic in itself. And, I think this is kind of the one that sets things just into motion. And mixed with, of course, the moon, which is in T-square to those energies today, exact. It's definitely, Monday can, even in our personal lives, it can feel like there's a lot of big things that are changing, a lot of big energies coming in, and it puts a lot of pressure on our individuality and people and the collective. So it's almost like the collective definitely is, I feel like, going to push for something. But in your personal life, I think it's a good question to see what are you pushing for, and are you trying to see both sides of things, and are you balancing out through really stepping into your own individual value system and understanding that everybody has their own individual value system, their own truth, and you know what, there's a lot of liberation there. And I think Uranus always wants to take us higher in life. It's the accelerator to the heavens, the god of the heavens, and it is Saturn's, Cronus's father, Uranus. So definitely, a battle between son and father, and then the moon's, like the mother's getting into it. So there's just some, there's some tension here, and it might come down to, like, of course we want to be in our heart. We have Mars in Leo. We have the moon in Leo as well. There's an aspect to this Monday where we really just want to see where the joy and the happiness and the fun is, and maybe disconnect. But there's also this very, serious aspect where we got to find beauty, but we almost have to get like serious about it. And it's like serious in a colder, more, even maybe a disconnected way with Uranus, so that you're really, looking into your own personal life and not getting too lost in what's going on outside. There's definitely some of that too. So it's very erratic energy, and at that same time, we're gonna see Mars make its quincunx to Jupiter, which is that's the quincunx is a weird aspect. It's 150 degrees. It's just this like kind of oddball. Kind of feels like you're being puppeted. So there's like this big pole, and of course Zeus, Jupiter, big Jupe, trying to, I think, really show us our spiritual courage in this time with Jupiter in Pisces, and how we can like be and act from a flow within our heart, and not get lost. So I think there's this weird pull to like make sure that we're like holding our like our spiritual shit together, if you will, and not losing ourselves, because Mars definitely shows out in Leo. And, people could definitely want to be showing off, and it could be, we could see government and the world and a lot of like big show out energy right now. But, I think we have to be careful that if we're seeing an illusion and still discern, and, I think making sure that we're locking down our own spiritual philosophies, and, that guidance from our own heart can be a big help. On a day where it's just like, who knows? It's super unpredictable, heavy energy. So Monday's definitely Monday's a wild ride. I'll be honest. And the whole time the sun at 24 degrees is really trying to show us this beauty and this balance, but it's kind of double split days. That sun's going to come to 24 degrees at 1:47 Pacific. So on the East Coast, that'd be 4:47, and wherever else you are out there. So it is this like split day where that sun will be at 23, which is a very master step degree of Gemini. So there's just so much information, so much contemplation, so much the talking and communicating, and it's very erratic. And then it's like through that, like, can we find some sort of balance, some sort of beauty in the chaos? So I think Monday's like this. you find the beauty in the chaos when it's all said and done, but it almost feels like you had to make some radical big decision in your personal life for your self-worth. And then Venus is really just floating through Cancer here, coming off the square to Chiron, of course, coming off the sextile to Uranus, and just like, well, here I am, starting to work towards, it's, right at the midpoint, basically, of Jupiter and Uranus for that trine. So I think there's definitely like some softer energy that's trying to enlighten us in many ways, and bring us some feel good energy, and comfort. But it's comfort like within your home life. It's comfort within your own emotional world, your own emotional body as well. So making sure that people are on the same page emotionally is important when it comes to Venus and relationships. It definitely seems like there's two sides to every coin, and it's like we got to make sure that the people that we're getting really close with in life kind of like see the same side as us, or it's like it's hard to connect fully and it's hard to find comfort. And it's not that there's a wrong side or a right side. It just is what it is. There's two sides to everything right now because it's Gemini. Do you really want to, have people in your life that are just causing you, to not feel safe and secure within your own self and always questioning, whatever it is you're doing, or you're doing the same to them? That's not fun either. So just throwing that out there. Tuesday, we're going to have the sun at, again, split days here with the sun. So I think there's this, heightened sort of dualistic nature to every day this week. And we've been kind of going through that. And it's very mercurial, very Gemini. So we're going to see the sun finish up at 24 and come to 25 degrees, which is, it's like, okay, maybe we were able to like get through some sort of like controlled chaos maybe, or just found beauty through the chaos, and then we come to like a spiritual understanding. So I would say Tuesday's like this spiritual understanding day, and we're going to see the moon come to 25, finish up here in Leo, and not, it's not making a ton of aspects, but it is going to sextile with the sun and Mercury early, which is nice. I think that, there's a good vibe to Tuesday where it's like there's this chaos going on, but it's almost like if you can really get, comfortable in your heart, comfortable in what makes you feel good, and express your truth and have the courage to, speak up for whatever it is in life that you want, that there is that, like, there's that backup, So we have that good energy. It is going to quincunx Pluto, as the sun's getting ready to quincunx Pluto. So there's almost this very it's a very loose yod, but there is somewhat of a yod to Pluto here. We're in a time of transformation, so it's kind of quick. It's quick with the moon. It's not like this is going to last for a while, but it is, the king and the queen, the sun and the moon are two luminaries, working together to communicate from the heart, to communicate the truth, so that we can all transform, parts of this structure, of this reality that is shattering, so that I think we can rebuild it, and regenerate it with Pluto in a better way. And I think that in your personal life, you're starting to see ways that you can structure your life better too. And like, if you're really in your heart and you're feeling into your heart and you're feeling not only into that, but also being smart, even though we are in a Mercury retrograde, you can still be smart in a Mercury retrograde, but to be very, to be open-minded to all sides and to all things, and to pay attention to facts so that you can transmute, a lot of energy right now, which will help you alchemize sort of, this big picture of a destiny even. So Pluto could be rewriting destinies in, Capricorn as well, with this yod. So Tuesday is a big day. It is a Mars day. It's an action day, but I think there's this spiritual transformation of understanding and love that does come out of nowhere, maybe in our own personal lives, that's helping. And we're going to see Mars come off that quincunx to Jupiter. So Jupiter could have given us a lot of philosophy as well, in some weird, strange, synchronistic way with Jupiter and Pisces, or it could have been, some sort of dream that came through that you need to act on as well. So I think that there's some of that to this to this Tuesday as well, and interesting to see, you know, the quincunx to Neptune at that same time, as we're seeing the sun come off the square to Neptune, but so many Neptunian aspects. So the moon here in Leo is definitely getting, I think, there's just a very spiritual, synchronistic side to Tuesday that it's almost like you're getting big messages and you want to act on them to transmute, you know, a destiny, to step into maybe what the mission is with Pluto and Capricorn. Wednesday, Mercury Day, we're going to see the sun finish up at that 25th degree. It will enter the 26th degree, so it becomes a very serious day, and it is going to finish up with a quincunx to Pluto, which is that's another intense sort of vibe. You know, I think it's kind of building up to that, but there's definitely a transmutation of our mind. There's a big shift that's taking place, and that eclipse was a big part of it. There's a whole new story we're writing for ourselves, a whole new understanding, a whole new way of thinking that I think the collective is about to go through and see these other sides. So, you know, I think there's this faded aspect with a quincunx and with a yod, with the moon and Pluto that showed up on Tuesday, to where there's this spiritual message, there's this bigger synchronistic gift, there's things that are going to fall into place very divinely orchestrated in your own personal life, and then you have to transmute that message and make the most sense of it, for like a destiny shot. And it's with the sun coming to 26 degrees and Pluto at 26, it's serious. It's a big deal, and it's like you gotta get serious about it and put the plan into play. You know, whatever it is that might come through, like, don't hesitate on a big plan if it's coming in. And we're gonna see that moon come into Virgo. And I think that we're gonna want to tidy some things up. We're gonna want to get some things in order. So I think that helps us get serious about some things, while at the same time squaring these nodes after the eclipse, and working up towards the first quarter square between the sun and the moon, and also opposing Jupiter in Pisces. So I think there's a lot of big things, you know, that we're feeling. You know, a lot of maybe channeling, a lot of synchronicities, and we got to like bring them into reality. We got to get serious about it, so we can't just go out into the ether, go out into the dream world. We want to bring these things home. We want to get serious and I think make some things happen. So there's these big, almost like divine, you know, interventions and revelations that I think so many people are going through, that are trying to show up, and you know, you got to bring them in, got to make sense of them and analyze them and put them into some sort of proper order, you know, that's going to be like grounded and make sense and be like some sort of stability, almost like we're almost finding some sort of stability in what really is unstable territory with Uranus square Saturn. But that moon's also going to finish off this day with a trine over to Uranus. So definitely, you know, a lot of insight could be coming through in more grounded ways. So like you might see some things that you really need to like put into play and start working on and building on. And you know, you have to really know your worth, and you have to be, you know, analytical and smart about how you're going to put it together. And I think that Uranus is going to help you innovate. It's going to help you do that, make a change in something that, you know, is better for your physical world. That's going to be more stable in such unstable territory. Thursday, which is Jupiter Day, of course, we're going to see that sun finishing up at 26 degrees, finishing up with the quincunx to Pluto, which is definitely trying to give us trying to transform, you know, not only our mind, but I think the mission. You know, I think a lot of people are going to see that there's a bigger mission at play right now, and got to get serious about that mission to find the stability. Like, that's where the stability's at, is really in, you know, understanding your own individual truth and your own individual mission. And I think at this point we've gotten enough signs to step into that mission as possible, and that's just, you know, my personal spiritual opinion on the matter. And, you know, you're going to see that sun come to 27 degrees, and I think, you know, it's about not only having the plan set from the day before and getting the things in order, but then, acting. It's about the action as we come into Thursday night. And like that's where a lot of the gift would be in Jupiter days, is in that like big action for a lot of maybe philosophy or visions that have come through. And, I don't think you want to just hope things out and hope things will be okay with the South Node in Sagittarius, but put those visions into action, put them into play. And we're also seeing Jupiter at 2 degrees, so there's just, I would say, a lot of emotion, a lot of sensitivity. So we're very sensitive to energy right now, and that's doing us, it can be a favor or it can be the opposite. It can have us oversensitive to the point where we're not thinking clearly, or we don't want to, maybe we're getting lazy or just trying to not act. And I think that that's, you want to feel into these things and then act accordingly and make sure that you're finding some sort of stability. We're going to see that moon finish up in Gemini, but it is going to make the first core square to the moon on Thursday. And I think that this is really having us, it's the first core square after a solar eclipse, and I think this is having us really really find out what's wholesome and what's necessary and what we have to clean up to purify our reality and our mind and our understanding and our truth, so that there's this big purification. And there's this T-square with Neptune, right basically at the midpoint of the Sun and Mercury, which were in square and in a cazimi for the eclipse. So it's almost like there's this big push on our mind, and especially with Mercury, being the ruler of Gemini and of the moon here in Virgo. It's like, we definitely have to be mercurial and hermetic and smart and see both sides of things. And that's how we're going to purify us through our mind right now, being comfortable within our emotions, of course, being comfortable and acting from the heart with Mars and Venus and the king and the queen's home. But I still think it's very important as well to, really focus in on the mind. I know we have this Mercury and it's slowing down, getting ready to station and go direct on the 22nd, but it's sensitive times, but we have to bring those sensitivities and those true authentic feelings within ourselves, make sense of them, and then purify and make changes and clean up parts of our reality that aren't making sense any longer, that aren't part of the truth. And I think that, Thursday's a great day for that. And I think that we can find a lot of abundance in that, but we have to take this initiation, we have to take this action to tidy what isn't, spiritually aligned any longer, what isn't, of the truth in your own personal life any longer. Those kind of just have to make the changes. But we do see, the moon also sextile with Venus, which is a super nice, aspect. There's definitely a lot we can feel good about, I think, and a lot we can feel, secure and comfortable about. It's just likely not going to be the stuff on the outside. And I know I sound like a broken record. I say that all the time, but those are the times that we live in right now. In your environment and in your home life and in your community is where it's at right now. And that's where the beauty's at. That's where the comfort's at. And like, if you're looking at politics and these big scale and these world scale events, like, sure, pay attention to those. They're not important in our life, but we just can't lose ourselves in that, or I think we're missing out on what the truth is really trying to show us in our lives right now. So it's like we gotta stay close to home, pay attention to the world, but the truth and the best change that you can make right now is for yourself and your environment, and that's just the truth in itself. And we can nurture ourselves, and maybe it's a good day to clean up whatever it is that's not making you feel great within your own value system too. So definitely more of a, kind of comes into a more feel-good energy, but it's feel-good energy if you're acting on cleaning up what just doesn't fit in the divine order of your reality or in your truth anymore. And it's like, at this point, you've definitely seen all the signs, and we're trying to transmute into that destiny. So the sun's also, this whole time in semi-square to Uranus, and that's a hard one too, because they are opposite energies. Of course, the Sun, Leo, Uranus, Aquarius, and the 45-degree angle is just a weird one too. And it's like, we can't get paralyzed right now. We really want to see where we can take things and how we can take things higher and how we can do that and act on it. And it's through our mind. Uranus is the higher mind too. So like, we have to get the heart on the same page with the higher mind. I think Mars is actually really helping with that too, before making these hard aspects to, of course, Uranus and Saturn. Like, we can use the beginning of this Mars Leo to like really get into our heart and to really make good actions from that space. Friday, Venus Day, we're going to see the sun finish up at that 27th degree. So it's action, it's go time, and it's going to come and finish off the evening at 28, which is a big manifestation day. So the solar eclipse was at 19, which was a manifestation, and 28's like, you have to manifest, but you have to feel it and believe it, and you have to be a master in that energy. So it's like, what do you want to bring to life? And it's all those things that you took action for. It's all those things that you believed, the spiritual truth, the transmutation, all of these things that are trying to transmute your world right now and alchemize it into gold. Friday is a beautiful day with a Venus day to really go in and believe and make things happen and trust that the universe is going to bring it there. It's almost like if you don't really believe and feel into it, those big things that you wanted to manifest or those big intentions that you wanted to set into play from the solar eclipse, like Friday is the day to manifest. Like, it's coming off that first quarter square, like you can make these things happen. And the moon is in Libra here, just blowing Venus up to a plus 14, and the moon, they're sharing reception. Jupiter sharing reception with, it's just all over the place. So there's definitely high energy when that moon comes into Libra as well. So it's like, how are you using this energy, and how are you doing it to, really justify your life? Are you doing it to feel better, to see the beauty, the harmony? Are you making the right connections in life? So, are the people that we connect with, are they right? Are they good? The moon's going to trine the north node, sextile the south node. Also going to sextile Mars. So there's definitely, it's a manifestation day, but you have to like justify what you're manifesting and really believe it as well, and make sure that, I would say like the people in your life want to see you do it too. Because if people in life are, not believing in you or telling you you're not worth it, that just makes it harder. So it's like, we have to make sure that, like, I think it's important with Saturn in Aquarius, like, we're finding out our own frequency, we're finding out our individuality, but we're also trying to link up with other people that feel the same way, that are on the same wave. And Saturn comes back to 12 degrees after being at 13 for a long time. That's a big shift this week too. That takes us out of this sort of quantum realm and sort of back into like what we're believing is possible, what we're believing, we can shift into. So we're kind of like now we're starting to really go backwards with Saturn. Saturn's going to go back to 6 Aquarius by, I believe it's October 10th. So Saturn's it's going to go back into that first decan. It's going to start moving here in this retrograde motion. And I think that's important. The moon will also finish with a trine to Saturn. It will, it's just going to finish the day with a trine to Saturn. And is going to finish off too with it's going to get really close to Chiron. That's more tomorrow morning. But, we're definitely, where's the beauty at? And are you ready to manifest and believe in that 100%? It's all about the intent. And, there is a believe factor to that intent, because you really have to feel into it. And, you also have to take the action from the heart to believe that it can really come to fruition, that you can really be started, that it can, that those ideas are good. So, and justified, you have to justify within yourself, I think, that your action and what you want to come to life is going to come to life. Be a diplomat for your life right now, with people, with ideas, with all sorts of things. Saturday, we're going to see the sun at 28 degrees. So we're still in that like manifest energy. And then in the evening, it'll come to 29 degrees. But I think, it's still like Saturday's still that manifest degree. And we're going to see the moon in Libra, starting to really coming off the opposition to Chiron and the quincunx even to Uranus. It's going to make those trines, and of course, really nice trines over to Mercury retrograde, but it is going to square Venus. So we finally get some like Venus aspects, and they're really strong together here. They're sharing reception, of course, and we got to justify what makes us feel good in life, and that's how we're going to manifest. That's how we're going to bring these things to life. That's how we're going to transmute the energy. And I think that, the more you can go into that, and definitely make sure that you're justifying from a healing place of your own ego, from that you're not thinking that you're some weirdo. And Saturn and Chiron are tightening up in their sextile. Like, there's a ton of healing in the collective right now if they can find their true, authentic, healed ego, and act accordingly from that place. And not just like this wounded, sort of masculine energy within a lot of people. So there's definitely a bit of the masculine energy that, and we all have that, we all have positive, negative, call it masculine, feminine, whatever you want. But it is that positive energy that's getting a reboot with Chiron here, and it's Saturn's helping us, bring some control to that frequency that we're trying to heal. And coming off that with the moon, we definitely want to make sure the relationships are right, but make sure that, we're not dealing with people that aren't healing their ego right now. I think that's important too with the Libra aspects and the trines to Mercury, having conversations, getting things off our chest, and the square to Venus brings up relationships too. So, I would say Saturday is a good day. It's either a great day for relationships to feel good and to manifest together and to see what's comfortable and beautiful and, go into that together, or you're kind of seeing like where that's just all falling apart. Eclipses are hard time for relationships. So, it's definitely, eclipse season is breakup season all the time. And I'm not trying to say like go break up with someone, but don't weigh out your life for someone else if you are not happy. I think, there's something about also finding that, that courage in us that's been wounded for so long with Chiron. And it's like, make sure you're feeling the courage. Make sure you're feeling good. It's important to feel good about yourself and to make good, justified decisions with other people. So, definitely a people day on Saturday, Saturn day. But, great day for manifestation too. And it could be manifesting with the right people and partnerships and, do what you're doing with other people. So don't discount, the people in your life too. They're definitely, a lot of them, many of them, probably most of them are there right now to help. Finish off the week with Sunday, of course, and we are going to see that moon move into Cancer. We are going to see a trine with the sun at 29 and the moon at 29 Libra as well earlier in the day. So that's nice. It is in air. I think it's having us, get our emotions justified and understood and our truth expressed. So definitely a nice trine that starts off there. And then we get that sun which it does go to 29 degrees, of course, on that Saturday. And that becomes a healing day too. So it's interesting. I talk so much about Chiron because it makes an 11 when you go to 29, and that's a lot about healing, but it's a lot about you really recognizing what you need to heal. Not so much trying to heal other people, but the healing that's within you, and that's where you purify and also make good healing decisions in relationships. And then so we finish off the week, the summer solstice. So happy Cancer season. Like, we get a bit of it, tiny little bit. It's at 8:47 p.m. on the West Coast, so just before midnight on the East Coast. In the United States, we get it too. And coming off the trine with the moon, definitely there could be some really feel-good energy and communicative thoughts and, like, making sure that, like, the relationships are right, that both people in the relationship are healed, or that you're just making sure that you're justifying your own healing. And, I think that there's a lot that can come just from that too. And I think we're all healing all the time. And right now, a lot of the information and the truth is what's healing us. And then the moon comes into Scorpio in fall position, and it's definitely, having us look deeper in life and get introspective and dig. So I think we're digging for more, we're looking for more, and the surface level of things don't quite do it with a moon in Scorpio. So we might have to go. And Scorpio is a good reminder to the moon every month that things just don't last forever. So if you found that this week was showing you what's up with other people and some of that Libra moon stuff, this is where you have to let go of things. You have to learn that nothing in reality lasts forever, and the moon wants to be comfortable. That's why it's exalted in Taurus. And in Scorpio, guess what? There's not a lot of comfort, because it's a good reminder that everything not only gets birthed, but does die in this physical reality. So there could be things that are falling out, but it's also having you get more in tune with your psychic energies, of course, with your deeper truths and your deeper feelings. And I don't think, when the moon comes into Scorpio, you don't want to put up with no bullshit either. So it definitely gives you some courage as well. And it isn't sharing reception with Mars anymore. So we had that going for a long time. So the moon definitely does take its hit in Scorpio. But, 0 degrees, powerful. This is definitely, getting the sun at 0, Cancer, and then, getting the moon in Scorpio, very Plutonian energy. Very, there's a lot of transformation going on this week. A lot of, this change, and it's deep interchange, I think, as well. And we kind of finish off the week with that. And what are we going? Sometimes we have to go in deep and really find out what's going on and get to the bottom of things. And that 0 degree, this solstice, and with the moon in Scorpio, that's what you want to do, is really get in there deep and see what's up. And that moon's going to square that Mars in Leo, and it's going to finish off with an opposition to. So now we're getting it's an opposition to Uranus. Come on, erase. Okay. And it's also going to square Saturn. So not only did we get a T-square to Uranus, but we're getting a T-square to Saturn. And the moon's going to square, that's more on the 21st, but still, that's coming, and that's intense too. So we're starting to see deeper truths come out about what's going on in society, what's going on in the world, and what's changing. And I think we have to find a lot of deep inner sovereignty and go into those deep spaces so that we can rise up with a lot of power. And the moon, even in square to Mars, is like, hey, do you have the emotional courage to get through these things and to transmute your energy and to transmute the day? And, we had to do some healing before that came into play, but that's it, And the moon also does square off with Pluto before coming in to Scorpio. So we're in very transformative times, which is good. A lot of good things come from transformation. And, I think a lot of us are regenerating. So, it's not like it always has to be a scary thing. Although sometimes, when the moon comes into Scorpio, we have to confront our fears. And that's just how it goes. And, I think it's often when we confront our fears that we realize it was so silly that we feared it in the first place. So we're maybe transmuting some things that we're a little worried about, a little unsure of. There is uncertainty, but at the same time, we're getting to the bottom of what we want to create and what we want to manifest, and how we're going to, feel into that as we come into Cancer season, to bring that, what we do want to see in life, into reality. But it's got to be from this personal aspect of your environment, your home, your community. That's the best advice I can give anybody during these times, is if you can stay in that space and stay in your heart, stay in your spiritual truth, you're going to be just fine. But I'll be honest, the people out there that are not focusing on what's close to them and are just so lost in all of this chaos out in the world, all of, then there's going to be more of it. There's going to be more chaos, and, it's going to throw people for a loop. And that's where I think, people are going to get put in really strange situations within themselves. So, best advice I can give anybody right now is, be in your truth and focus on your environment and your world, and whatever may come, you will have the strength to get out of it. And also on that Sunday when the moon comes into Scorpio, it is going to trine over to Big Jupe. So, I think there's abundance in the spiritual depths within us and the deeper philosophies and what we can investigate. We just got to go into those spaces and pull out truth right now. And it's truth from a more divine perspective, but also looking for, some truth in the facts of our reality as well. I thank you all so much. Truly appreciate you for hanging out for this last 45 minutes. Hope you have a great week. I will pull a tarot card. I do want to give thanks to David Palmer, the Leo King. I do want to give thanks to Christopher Witecki at Serious Joy. And also Robert Phoenix. Those are my 3 astrologers that have taught me a lot. They teach me a lot. I use Christopher Witecki's Step Astrology. I just think it's the way he channeled that and brought that into play. I don't think many other astrologers use it. It's so good. So definitely credit where credit's due. And I always credit the Leo King. He's taught me 90% of the astrology that I know, and so grateful for those three. And I'm also very grateful for you guys. So I just want to give thanks for all of that. Definitely thank you to everybody who subscribes to Fixed Air Moon. It means the world to me that you support my work and help me, do this full time. And that $5 a month it's gold to me, So thank you. Card of the week is the 6 of Pentacles reversed. Well, there's a lot about finding justification for ourselves this week, and I think we're definitely figuring out where the give and take is. We can't just be a charity case for what's going on in the world. I think we really have to look for balance in a time where I do think we start to see big changes out in the world, more so than what we've been seeing, and we've been seeing a lot, where we gotta balance things out within our own home physical stuff and the stuff that we can kind of make and create and transmute and make happen. So I think, the big thing would be don't give all your energy out to whether it's other people or other sources. Focus in and find what's up with your reality right now and balance things out. And if we can balance things out this week, I think we find a lot of justification, and we find that, we're acting from more of a fair, perspective in our own life. So we got to find balance, and make our transmutation, make these things happen. Mutable times, solar eclipse, lots of change, lots going on, and you can make a lot go on in your life. Just don't get so lost in the other stuff. Balance things out with what's close to you. I love you all very much. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next time. Peace.